crafty friends, it is Erica back on the Crafty Meraki YouTube channel, but today I think you can refer to me as a crazy dog lady because we are going to be looking at the Paws-itively Yours super sweet set. I really like this one because I live in Spain, so siesta, Spanish for yoga. I like that. I have been known to take the old siesta myself. Yes, I have. Now, I am going to actually stamp up this entire set. Yes, every single one. And I'm going to color every single image as well. So I decided to squeeze all of these in on one A2 size piece of paper. So I'm going to stamp these up with my mini MISTI, and then I'm going to clean up my stamps whilst they are on the door of the MISTI with the Ink on 3 stamp ink off set. Now, I'm one of those weirdos who like my stamps to look super clean, like they've never been used, and that they are perfectly lined up. So you can see here, I am actually taking my stamps off, turning them upside down, and then popping them back onto my acetate. So it looks like they've never been opened. I like that. I know, it's just one of those quirks that I have. Now, I am going to be coloring all of these images, but because we don't want to be here a full day, I am going to be hyperlapsing this. So I will be covering just like a couple of the images, like this little kitty cat, for instance. I'm coloring him or her, the cat. I'm coloring the cat with like a stippling technique. So I add lots and lots and lots of little dots, and I find that this helps with just adding like a fur-like texture. I'm doing the same on this little dog here. So you use the same color, but you, instead of drawing like smooth lines, you just add little dots all over the place, and it just, the way that the alcohol markers react with each other, it gives like a textured look without having to kind of be super duper technical about it. Yeah, does that make sense? Well, we're gonna have a close-up look at all of these images later, but as I said, I'm going to be covering, why do I keep saying covering? I'm going to be coloring every single image. So I'm going to color this gal, a little bit like myself, with some kind of like slightly sun-kissed hair, bit of a tan in places, and a blue sweater because she loves blue, and by she I mean me. I love blue. And I actually have a stray cat as well. I have two stray cats. One is called Carmen and the other one is called Carlos. And one is Carlos is the boy cat. He's kind of grayish, stripy gray. He's super feisty, like proper feline feisty. Now Carmen, on the other hand, is more like the kitty cat that I colored up in the top here. And she is so mellow. She just wants to cuddle and be stroked, and then she likes getting petted and brushed until she doesn't, like typical cat. Yeah. And this little, I say this little boy for some reason. I'm like, oh, this little boy, my husband. No, this boy, I'm coloring as I kind of picture my husband would look like in his more sort of like youngish years, with a dog that is very similar in color to one of our little cheeky chicas. So we are just gonna add these last little bits and bobs here, and I'm also gonna color in this yoga girl. And now this gal, she is gonna get a funky hairdo. So I decided that instead of doing kind of like normal sort of like blondish, brown, reddish or whatever, I'm gonna give her slightly lilac hair. Yes, she's a bit of a rebel, this gal. And then the final image is this kitty cat, and we're just going to do him as well. Now, I had a little bit of a blob, one of my markers, when I colored the ball here. You can see there's a bit of a blob there. Sometimes you can't help that. Sometimes your markers are having a day. So we're going to take a colorless blender, and we are going to zoom in so we can actually see what we're doing. And we're going to gently blend around that bit there, and we're going to try to basically erase that. Now, another way of sort of fixing any coloring, well, if you have markers that kind of leak or make blobs or splatter, sometimes they splatter, I don't know why they do that, but you can use a white gel pen as well and just kind of cover up a little bit here and there. Now, you see that it's not perfect, but once it dries, it does get better. So This is kind of like one of those things where you have to be a little bit careful because you don't want to get too much in there, because you don't want to get into your coloring and then it will bleed out as well. And it's important as well to let the paper dry. And then when this is all done, we are going to take all of the coordinating die cuts and we're going to cut these out. And I love me a coordinating die cut. I mean, look at that. It just looks so much more fun right away. And this is the little doggy that I colored with like the stippling technique as well. And I did this one as well, just because I really do feel like it just gives that really nice sort of fur texture without having to be super, super good at coloring. Now, I decided to use the little images in this set to create a background. So we're going to have a little bit of Copic friendly ink. This is the same ink I used in the beginning. We're going to take a panel of Copic friendly paper, and then I am actually using a stamping block this time. So we're going to dab, get lots of ink on here. And then we're going to stamp this first in the corner, and then we're going to stamp this all over the panel to make like a pattern paper of sorts. So we're going to take that, and then we're going to get more ink on that, and we're going to move the stamp block a little bit so we don't get like the same images in the same spot all the time. And then we're just going to rotate, stamp, rotate, stamp, rotate, stamp until we have covered this entire panel. And this is one of those things where you have to be kind of firm with your pressure so that you make sure that all of the images are, you know, you get nice firm lines, but you also need to be careful so you don't get like smudges. So it can take a little bit of practice. So practice on a scrap piece of paper first and then get coloring. So we are going to start here first with the little paw prints. So we're going to use quite a lot of different markers. So some W, or like the warm grays. So I'm going to start with quite a dark one. So the W7. And then I'm going to go in with the W5. I actually decided to skip the 6 because I didn't want too much of a blend in there. Then we're going to go in with the E71, which is more of a, it's kind of like a rosy gold color almost, but without being like goldy shimmery. And then just to kind of get those like paw prints done. Then I did start to color and actually film the coloring of the water bowls. But I did forget to film all of it. So all of a sudden we will skip into the finished panel. Yes. So, oops. Sorry about that. It's one of those things I'm terrible. But these are the markers that I used for every single image on this panel. Then what I've done is I've trimmed this down and I've added this to a white card base. And then I'm going to take my images here and I've actually stamped up a sentiment and cut this out so it's just a tiny little banner. So I decided to use the boys, or the boy and the boy dog, because it kind of felt like a more masculine background here. And with that, you know, once this is all glued down, the card is ready. So that is it from me for today. But yay for me for making a critic card instead of a flower card, right? I really hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you soon again. Bye for now.